Time for business. Kate Moody joins us. Good evening to you. Now, the River Seine, famous worldwide. There is a scandal bubbling away here over pollution. Tell us about it.
Yeah, it's an environmental scandal. That's how the mayor of Paris has described it. Paris prosecutors have now opened an investigation into the Franco-Swiss cement giant Lafarge-Holcim. The scandal was sparked by amateur footage shared with authorities and then on social media, which appears to show hundreds of litres of toxic wastewater being emptied into the river from a Lafarge site east of Paris. Yana Lee reports.
It all started with these images filmed by fishermen last week at a Lafarge site. We see a truck dump its load into a punctured tank, leading to hundreds of litres of toxic waste spilling into the Seine River. After more videos surfaced in local media, Paris City Hall called for an investigation.
C'est pour nous inacceptable de ne pas en avoir été informés. Il est inacceptable de constater la pollution et de son impact potentiel sur la faune, sur la flore et globalement sur la qualité de l'eau dans la Seine. Et donc nous allons demander, au-delà de la plainte qui va être instruite via la saisine du procureur de la République, à Lafarge des explications.
Paris prosecutors have opened an investigation against Lafarge-Holcim for suspicion of pollution. But the Franco-Swiss cement giant insists that it's the victim of vandalism and has also filed a complaint with police on Tuesday.
Donc c'est cette plaque d'étanchéité qui donne sur le dernier bassin de décantation qui a été arrachée en fin de semaine. On l'a retrouvée complètement remontée au moment où la police fluviale est venue.
Environmental organisations have cried foul. They say this is an age-old practice, a way to get rid of waste without going through the process of recycling. In March, a subsidiary of construction company Vinci paid 50,000 euros in fines after its trucks were also linked to cement water ending up in Paris's iconic river.
Businesses across France are trying to catch up to new restrictions on wearing face masks, now mandatory in shared workplaces. The government has defended the move as imperative to halt the spread of the coronavirus and restart economic activity. Some companies have complained they haven't had enough time to adapt, while many workers say it's just uncomfortable. While visiting one French tech company on Tuesday morning, a government representative described the mask order as not ideal, but said it was crucial to keep the economy going.
Aujourd'hui, le gouvernement souhaite garantir la sécurité sanitaire des salariés, des clients, des entrepreneurs, et aussi permettre à l'économie de se développer, de reprendre, de façon à ce que notre pays puisse surmonter cette crise à la fois sanitaire et économique. Et donc, quand on a cette perspective, le choix, il n'existe pas. Il faut mettre le masque pour garantir l'activité économique.
Let's check in on the day's trading action now. Wall Street with a strong start to September. Record closes for the S&P 500 and NASDAQ. Tech shares were boosted by reports that Apple is getting closer to releasing phones with 5G capacity. Shares of Zoom Video, meanwhile, soared nearly 40% after it announced another huge jump in the number of paying customers. The major European indices closed mostly lower. The FTSE 100 down 1.7% in London. Fresh data painting a worrying picture of the state of the Eurozone economy as inflation turned negative for the first time since 2016 and unemployment crept up. Facebook has threatened to stop news articles from being shared by Australian users because of a proposal to charge digital giants royalties. The social network says the legislation is unprecedented and will damage news organizations. Google and Facebook have lobbied heavily against the new rules, which are being drawn up by Australia's competition regulator after public consultation. The rules would see the tech firms pay publishers for articles that are shared on their sites. Australian officials defended the proposed changes.
We want a sustainable media environment, and key to that is to see payment for original journalistic content. And so we're committed to these reforms. We won't be bullied, no matter how big the international company is. Make no mistake, Facebook, Google provide wonderful services to Australians, indeed to people right around the world. But what we have sought to do is undertake evidence-based reform.
McDonald's is facing accusations of racial discrimination in the United States. 52 black businessmen and women who used to own franchises say the fast food giant denied them the same opportunities as white operators and pushed them into low-income areas where sales are weaker and costs higher. The lawsuit filed in Illinois claims that McDonald's violated federal anti-discrimination law and breached their contracts. McDonald's denying the claims for now. This is, though, at least the third racial discrimination lawsuit that's been brought against McDonald's this year alone.
Indeed, Kate, thank you very much. Indeed, that issue, discrimination, set to continue to be a real hot-button topic between now and the election in November, but it's set to, I think, go on well beyond that, given human nature, sadly. Great to see you. Kate with the business.